G'day adventurers, it's awesome to be back again here at Mad TV. Look at this, I've got my own little corner again, back here at the, let's just call it the Nerve Centre for good old AAB magazine. This is where the magic happens. And look, the next issue, hot off the press, due out in a couple of weeks' time. Make sure you look out for that. Good old Aussie Adventure Bike magazine.
Hang on a minute, look at the handsome chap on the front there. Starfighter.
Oh, it's a tiger tamer. Wasn't that the best location we found in quite some time over there? Those green paddocks outside Burra, South Australia. If you're looking for a real quality adventure, head over to Burra, South Australia. Now, let's kick off this episode a little bit different, a little bit slower paced, shall we say. I had a trip up to Newcastle, not far from here in Sydney where we are. Suzuki had what they call a soft launch of a new adventure bike. And it's kind of amazing what's been going on at Suzuki. They've been winning MotoGP races, but then they turn around and can their whole MotoGP effort. Okay, all right, yeah, okay, economic decisions. And then, how about Ken Roczen? World Supercross champion, dead set legend of the Moto Supercross sport in Europe and the USA. Kenny's off contract. Had a bit of a fallout, shall we say, with Honda. So he's a free agent. He starts going all around the world to pick what bike he's going to ride next year in the AMA competition. And guess what he plucks for? After riding everything, Suzuki. Back on the RM Army, Ken Roczen, the new colonel, the new general of the RM Army, and he's picked a Suzuki for next year. So awesome, good news. Then Suzuki pulled the covers off. Allegedly, they've got like 20 to 30 new models coming over the next 12 to 18 months or so. And so they took us up to Newcastle last week to ride a new V-Strom. And no, it wasn't a new 1050. It wasn't a 1050 DE. It wasn't that trick new 800 DE, you know, the one that's loaded up with Showa suspension, 21-inch front wheel, gravel mode, new electronics. No, it wasn't any of those. What was it? 250. 250 V-Strom SX. Yep, a 250. They've actually made a 250 for a few years. It's been floating around in New Zealand for a little while, certainly through Asia for some time, and now they've decided to bring this one into Australia, here where we are. It's going to touch down in March next year. And two things about it. First of all, where it's made. It's manufactured in India, in a subsidiary plant company that's actually owned outright by Suzuki Japan, that literally turns out hundreds of thousands of units of motors per year. And because it's made in India and the relevant economies of scale and, shall we say, benefits to be enjoyed when it comes to labour rates, this little 250 SX V-Strom is going to arrive in Australia priced at $6,490 right away, which is just cheap. There's like nothing else in the market in adventure entry level that's even close to that. And the thing's not too bad. It's built solid. It only makes 26.5 horsepower. It weighs 167 kilos. So there's a lot of pork in there, but the thing's built strong. And it's got everything on it. Screen, it's got LCD display, rear rack is fitted, little plastic bash plate on it, all sorts of features, ABS, it's an oil-cooled motor. The thing looks like it'll just run forever. We had a short ride on it, a little play around on a paddock near the brewery, of all places where we went to see it. But so yeah, looking forward to that one. And it's going to be great, as I've said many times, to bring people into adventure riding. Because, yeah, people want cheap transport, cheap adventure bikes, and that's certainly where this one's going to hit the market, is at that cheap entry-level price point. Look out for the Suzuki V-Strom 250 SX hitting here in Aussie in March, early in the new year. Okay, let's shift east on the same continent. From India across to China now. And there is so much going on in China with adventure bikes. And a lot of these we don't see. You know, they're all made for the local domestic market, of course, and for Asian markets. Us Westerners, yeah, we don't get a lot of action and vision and touch and feel and ride with them. But they've been starting to make a greater presence with the latest EICMA show in Italy, just a couple of months ago. And a brand that's actually finally tackling that unicorn rally market that we're all talking about is Kove, K-O-V-E. And I'm just going to play some footage here of this new 450 rally that they've released. They showed it over there at EICMA. They've got plans already to release this bike into the US next year. It's a 450 rally. Probably looks familiar to some of the Austrian 450 rally bikes we know of. But mate, it's got the full enchilada. It's right there. It's two models. There's a Rally Standard and a Rally Pro. It's already raced Dakar. They've had a race team in Dakar. The brand is owned by a former semi-professional Chinese motocross rider who's obviously cashed up and wants to build the bike of his dreams and sell it around the world. And the thing doesn't look ugly. You know, the weight's on target, 145 kilos. There's 30 litres of juice on board. It's got all the tech, you know, obviously tower there, all the relevant nav gear, screen, fairing, etc. Mate, it doesn't look bad. And you know what price they're talking about in America for in 23 is about $14,500 US, which that's not crazy money for this kind of bike. So interesting to see where Kove go with it. They've got other models in the lineup, including a larger capacity 500cc adventure bike as well. Yeah, the thing looks good, huh? Doesn't it? Out of China, Kove. Let's just see where it goes. So let's continue the Chinese takeaway. I don't mind a bit of sang choy bao and some honey king prawns. So let's hook in, right? So another brand out of Chinese manufacturer, Rieju, R-I-E-J-U. Europeans might be familiar with this brand. They've actually, they've kind of risen from the ashes from the old Gas era, prior to KTM and Stefan Pira and the KTM group buying out Gas. So they've had a range of enduro bikes, motocross bikes, pure off-road bikes. But Rieju, they've also now come up with a really sweet-looking 500cc twin-cylinder adventure bike. Now they'll get to it here in this footage. The thing looks good, doesn't it? Like it's neat, it's tidy, it's streamlined, slim, more than a little Africa twinish, wouldn't we say? And if they get close in on the motor in a moment, people like us are going to go, hey, hang on, that motor looks real familiar. Can you say CBX 500 Honda? So apparently the word is they've got a licensing agreement in China with Longqin to remanufacture that engine and then put it into this bike, which apparently has been built and also sold under other brands in China, but now Rieju are looking to take the thing globally. And it does look good. And the real point of difference that this one's got, it's got 30 litres of fuel capacity. Yeah, that's right, 30. So there's a standard main tank up between your legs as normal, and then big bum tank at the rear. And it gives it 30 litres capacity, 500 to 600 kilometres range. But then look at all the detail bits and pieces on it. Full-size screen, wraparound handguards, etc. Skid plate, centre stand, crash bars, all that allegedly is in the standard ride-away package. Really, really good looking thing this is, mate. You're talking about 190 kilograms dry weight, so the fuel load is going to add to that, but it looks really neat. Rear rack in place there, upswept muffler, really good looking unit this thing. So hoping that this one comes to Australia. Rieju are active here in Australia where we are with their enduro bikes and off-road bikes. You know, they're keen to get this one into the US, of course. I think it could find a real home, popular in America. The CBX 500 over there, the Honda's been so popular. Yeah, I like the look of this one. Really, really interesting package. And I'd say it'd be priced super, super keenly as well. The Rieju Adventure 500 Legend. So there's times when I wonder just how big are the orange groves in Austria. It's like every day, every week, every month, there's another new KTM coming out from out of the woodwork. And the latest one they've taken the wraps off now, we've had the 890 Adventure R already. So now, it used to be called the S, the softer, more road-oriented touring model. Just now it's just called 890 Adventure. And they've just taken the wraps off that. So that'll be another mainstay in the range there. Probably not as popular, well, definitely not as popular here in Australia compared to the sales of the R model. We're a lot more off-road biased in our adventure riding here. But it'll be popular in Europe. Gravel road tourer. I think this is our old mate Birchie here in the saddle here, putting the thing through its paces. Hard cases in place and all, because Birchie's a hard adventurer. Look at him go. Brilliant. But it's got the same bodywork updates as the R model. It's got the new TFT screen set up and such, a bit more tech and play. And just, again, another more soft roader adventure model, as we say. And you can see here, Birchie can still do the business with it. They've also just yesterday taken the wraps off the latest 1290 as well. That's updated for next year. It's got some new graphic treatment on it, new cosmetics, new TFT screen with turn-by-turn technology as well. And it's available in both R and S models as well. KTM, mate, they're just not slowing down. They're going harder than everybody. And then with their other brands, Gas and Husqvarna as well. Dare to Adventure, that's their catch call at the moment. And they are just on fire with it. They're just going really hard. So many good adventure products coming out of Austria at the moment. Yeah, Dare to ADV. That's the latest catch call. Hey, here's the new 1290 footage. Have a look at this. This is some glorious footage, actually. Let's see if we can fire that up. Got to be in the US, or, oh no, it could be Morocco by the look of that. But this is just so nicely produced. Whoa, the classic Tartar dirt footage. And then away we go. Like Dave and I rode the 22 model 1290R, Super Adventure R. What a banger of a beast this thing is, mate. So off-road oriented. This R model, look at this thing run. You know, they're just masters of creating that aspirational marketing, but backing it up with a product that works as well. We both love this bike. And as I said, not a lot of updates for next year. Less blue colour work in the body, as you can see. More white. You know, the big update, again, is up on the TFT screen and the turn-by-turn navigation aspects as well. It's a fabulous thing. It's a great looking bike, this one. Can't wait to ride this new 1290. And I know I say it a lot, but yeah, just full props to KTM with where they're going, where they're taking it. They just got their finger right on the pulse for adventure.
There was a big deal, Clubby, lowering that seat height, haven't they? They've made it accessible to so many people.
Well, that was part of the info, that there's even more options with seat height now for this bike. Like you've got multiple optional seats to be reworking the seat height. But it's the true, isn't it? Big dirt bike feeling bike. It's great, mate. Yeah, really, really good thing. Anyway, stoked to when they'll get here. Probably they're talking about March and April in the new year here for Aussie. Yeah, it'd be unreal to rack a few miles up on that 1290 for sure. So it's awesome this time of year. Christmas, a bit of turducken. Go and look that up if you're overseas and you don't know what a turducken is. My favourite meal on Christmas Day. And then it's New Year, and then New Year means two things. Fireworks, drink and piss I was going to say, but let's just be calm and cautious about that and project the right image here. And of course it means Dakar to any dirt bike rider, but especially to us adventure riders. Dakar, oh mate, it's like the adventure ride of your dreams, if you want to race it. Us adventure riders, softcore dudes, we'd love to just ride it. And every year you just watch all that footage. We get it broadcast, same day coverage here in Australia. We get a wrap up on free-to-air television. We can watch it. Plus you can get more coverage on pay TV here. And it's just absolutely sensational. You know, I've been watching Dakar and following Dakar since day one, when it was truly the Paris to Dakar European and North African based event, and just an absolute bike and body breaker back in the day. They ended up having a lot of political issues and security issues there in Africa. Ultimately saw the event move to South America, which was fabulous as well. And then in the last few years, it's actually moved to Saudi Arabia. And everyone thought like, Saudi Arabia, it'll just be deserts. But mate, it's turned out to be such an absolutely stunning, amazing, eye-poppingly scenic place to run a major international rally event like the Dakar. And this year, I can't wait for it to start. It's kicking off, when I look at my notes here, actually New Year's Eve it starts this year, December 31. kicks off with the prologue, and then they run for a total of 16 days, including a rest day, so 15 days of competition. Okay, let's be specific. Prologue the first day, 14 days of competition. So they're going to knock over nearly 5,000 kilometres. And the thing that just blows me away about Dakar, and I speak to Rodney, my mate Rodney Faggoter, who's Aussie guy who's raced it so many times. Every time I see Rodney, I say, how do you ride an event that covers 500, 600, 700 kilometres per day, of which 300 to 400 to 500 kilometres are against the stopwatch? Like, can you just think about it as an adventure rider? 500 kilometres is a big day on a Nancy boy, latte sipping, snot block eating adventure ride, isn't it? Think about that. You've got to be on the pipe for 500 kilometres out of a 700 kilometre day. And then through that 500 kilometres, you've got to navigate, follow your tulips, hit your waypoints. You've got to then also stop and start for refuelling stages. You've got riders all around you. If you start to drop off the pace of the leaders, you've got four-wheel drives hammering up your clacker. Then you've got the race trucks that they get on top of you as well. And it's just ballistic as an event. It is just absolutely fabulous. And if it sounds like I'm stoked to know that it's only a couple of days away as we film this, yeah, you're right. I'm dead set stoked and I can't wait to see it. I'm going to play some footage here from a few of the different teams. The first one I'm going with is Gasser, Gas team. And the reason I'm kicking off with Gasser, okay, Sammy Sunderland on this side here, the Pommy guy, he's the defending champion. And of course, our Aussie boy, Daniel Sanders, the new kid on the block. There's Sammy. Sanders, mate, he had his debut race at Dakar last year. He came out, he won stages, and then the poor bugger, in the dark one morning on a liaison stage, on a highway, he somehow hit a curb in the dark at best part of 100 kilometres an hour, skated down the deck, ripped his elbow apart, all sorts of other injuries. It's been a slow process for him to heal and recover. He needed multiple surgeries to get himself back into one piece. But this guy, he has got the best mindset for racing, and he's got the best mindset for confident in what you're doing, is what I find about that guy. He looks beautiful on the bike. He's got any amount of style on the bike. And I can't wait to see him run this year. I just hope his body, particularly his elbow that he injured and his arm, are on the pace and in the game, and let him do the best that he can. They're a formidable duo, these two guys. Super professional and super cool cats is the other thing about them. They don't seem to let all that stress and strain of all that competition get to them. So best of luck for those guys. Really good luck for Chucky, Daniel Sanders. All right, let's flick on to some other content here that we've got. We can kill this one down. And let's now have a look. Have a look at the KTM team. And again, Aussie content. Our good old pie-eating mate. Good old Toby Price. Mullet man. How good's this content? Look at it. There's Matthias Walkner. That's the Austrian guy, former winner. Another teammate. And there's the mullet. Look at that mullet. Proud of it, eh? So Toby's won it twice before. He had a real squirrely last year. He had a navigation error early on and then was just chasing his tail the whole way. But he's had 5 podiums in his career, and he's coming into this one, I think, probably healthier than he has for a few years now. So I'm really wishing Toby all the best of luck again. Another Aussie guy. He's got so much experience. And again, he's a guy that can put the pain out of his mind. Like some of the stories of racing and riding with injuries that he's gone through are just mind-bending. Yeah, biggest off-road challenge in the world, he just said. That's an understatement. Anyway, good luck for the Kato team as well. I mean, they were dominant for, 20 years, weren't they? Winners of the Dakar. And you just know they're formidable as well. Let's have a look now at another team. This time, Honda team. The Monster Energy Honda team. I perish to think how much money We have a small technical issue, Dave.
Yeah.
Yes, the Honda footage is not there available.
Oh.
Okay, hang on, I'll find it and then we'll start that bit again. Hang on, mate. No, it only... And then, of course, there's Honda. How much money has Honda spent trying to win the Dakar Rally since they got back into it? I don't know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago? I mean, the good news is they finally did win the Dakar. And again, they're ponying up hard this year. And I've got some footage here of the team, the Honda team from last year. Monster Energy is their sponsor. Look at the scenery over here in Saudi. It's just nuts, isn't it? You know, so the team this year with Honda, they've got Ricky Brabeck, the big American dude. He won it a couple of years ago. He's back again. But the big signing Honda have made, they've got Adrian van Beveren, who was the front runner for the Yamaha factory team the last few years. Yamaha's made a curious decision. Out, boom, hands up, they're out of Dakar, gone. They're instead sponsoring a new Tenere 700 World Raid team that sort of is competing more in Pro-Am type rally events throughout Europe and Africa. And Honda, man, they spend some money trying to win this event. And look at it, as I keep saying, just look at the scenery out there in Saudi. It is just brilliant, eh? What an absolutely awesome ride that is. What a place to do it. So yeah, can't wait for Dakar. It's about to kick off. That's where I'll be every evening, right in front of my big screen TV, catching up with all the news on Dakar. Cannot wait for it.